Okay, so if you've been reading any of the news lately, specifically in the business world or even on LinkedIn, you've probably seen articles or the subject of Starbucks and workers going on strike. Now, I'm not super familiar, to be honest with you. I'm not super familiar with the whole union process and how the union works. So I was kind of doing some reading. And trying to learn about sort of what is going on. Why are these employees upset? Why is the union upset? And what is Starbucks saying about all this, and kind of how this whole thing is sort of playing out. But before I talk about that, I do want to say my name is Ryan Holguin. Welcome to the Practical Place, where I do like to talk about and have commentary on topics like this. A lot of times they're bigger macro discussions, but I try to, if possible, distill them down into bite-sized, tangible, sort of, applicable things one can walk away with today to sort of apply in their own lives. And so talking about high-level ideas is fun, but I always try to find a practical sort of takeaway that can impact me and inform the way that I live my life, or that I conduct work, or provide value for my organization. So if any of that interests you, I would encourage you to subscribe here, join the 350 plus other people that have joined already. So anyways, yeah, so reading about this Starbucks. So for context, right, there's about, when I'm looking here, there's about 550 stores collectively across, there's 9,000 total about U.S. stores for Starbucks, right? And of those, 550 of those are union, quote unquote, union stores, right? So just a percentage. And then there's, let's see, total company-wide employees, 235,000 employees total, right? Of all the union employees is about 14,000. So we're talking small percentages of people. Just this is kind of setting the stage, giving context. Now, of the active strikers, so the ones on strike are typically they're the union ones. So from the smaller pool of people, so you have about 2,000 right now on strike across 95 stores. So overall, of employees, less than 1% are on strike, and it's about 1% of stores affected. So in the context, right, 1% is not a large amount, but in the day and age we live in with news and social media, like, word travels fast, and so you can start a grassroots movement pretty quickly if you have the right marketing, or if you have the right publicity, and it just gets out there and catches like a wildfire. So that seemed to what happened. Now, I'm not minimizing what's going on. I'm not here to take a stance on, is Starbucks right or is the employees right. I'm for just what's right and objectively right, for the best, right? Now, for the best for people doesn't always mean it's easy for both sides, right? There's times where, for my child, I've got to do what's best for them, but they don't like it, right? Or there's things that I have to go through in my life that are best for me, but it's not fun. And so when I say I just want what's best, it doesn't mean everybody's going to be happy. And I really don't know, honestly. I don't have a dog in the fight, but I look at it as a citizen of the U.S., as somebody who works for an organization, as somebody who, goes to Starbucks every week. And, I don't, it's just interesting to see, because I think about it on a macro scale, and unions and strikes, they've been around for a long time. I'm reading, this book about Andrew Carnegie and his fallout with Henry Frick, and just one of his close associates, and how they had a falling out. But it's a lot of it's talking about the history of Carnegie Still, and just some of the strikes that those folks went on, like their workers went on. And I can sympathize a lot more, if I'm just honest, like with that situation, because those folks were working. I mean, you're talking about children, child labor. You're talking about really harsh conditions. You're talking about blue collar work, 12-hour shifts, really long days, right? Less sleep. This situation, we're in a different day and age where expectations are different. Now, I'm technically a millennial, so let me just put that out there. But my upbringing, my perspective sort of lends where I can sort of see both sides. Like I value, work-life balance. I value employee well-being. I value bringing your whole self to work to an extent. I value sort of all those things. But I do also value just hard work, and I value the fact that, sometimes you've got to do things and take jobs you don't want to take, and the conditions aren't ideal in the sense of like, you don't get along with your coworkers, or the manager is not super supportive or whatever. I just, there was a time where I used to work in a warehouse, bagging chips. And it was paying the bills for me, but I did not like it. To be frank, I did not like going in every day. Would get in shouting matches with coworkers. People were, would look down on you if you tried to work hard, especially somebody new coming in. So you had to sort of earn your stripes there, if you will. So it was just a condition, and that's just the way it is. And as I've gotten older, I'm not that old, but as I've gotten older, you kind of learn like the world and companies and organizations and even cultures within organization and groups of people, like they have a certain flow, a certain way they operate. And you just can't come in and disrupt that. Now, I'm not saying there aren't things in life worth fighting for, like there are. Now, a lot of the time that stuff's not black and white. So, let's say 30 years pass and this strike is successful, and they come out with their first agreed contract, or this collective bargaining agreement, and it's awesome for workers, and great, whatever. But if it ends up being nothing, and Starbucks going to continue to do business, then what was it for? Like, was this the thing worth fighting for? And I'm not sure. I think about it. One of the thoughts I have, is that I've learned, or the way that I currently kind of see the world a little bit, is like, at the end of the day, I'm the one responsible for my family and my bills, right? Context, we're a single income family. I'm the breadwinner, for lack of a better term. My wife stays home. We homeschool. We do that whole thing, right? So that's my context. So for me, there's a lot of weight to that. Like, I've got to hustle. I've got to work hard. I've got to make sure that I'm on my P's and Q's, doing everything I need to be doing to be as successful as I can in the workplace, so that my family can have a good life. Like, that's top of mind for me. So with that perspective of like, I've got to take care of my family, like nobody's going to come and like pay my family's bills. Like, so when it comes to something like this, like I get it, that you think you're fighting for something bigger than yourself. But at the same time, like, I'm sure these employees, these 2,000 workers on strike, like, and even the ones who voted no to having a union, or the ones who aren't on strike, like, this is affecting them. Like, I'm sure that there's union workers at these union stores that are not on strike, or maybe voted no against the union, because I was just reading about it, and it's like, if you get 50% plus one, then you're deemed a union, right? You're given that credibility from legally as a union. That's what I understand. I'm not giving any legal advice. I don't know. That's just what I read. And so, technically, that could mean, 40% of the workers voted no. They didn't want to be a union. So there's 40% of people who do not want to be unionized, right? But they have to be, because that's the legal requirement. And those folks, or just the ones not on strike, they gotta pay bills, right? And so this is creating such a chaotic environment, chaotic publicity, and so they've got to think about this. It could add additional stress. And so, to what extent does one fight for something that they believe in when it starts to hinder their neighbor, their employees or their coworkers? Where they're just trying to provide for their families. They're just trying to work hard, provide for their families, and just try to make an honest living. And so I'm not saying one's right or wrong. I don't know the situation of the workers on strike. I don't know. Like, I think they still have to get paid legally if they're on strike. Like, they're legally able to go on strike, right? And from what I understand, this is just, hey, we've been deemed a union, and this group of people, and so now we're legally the representation of the rest of the employees, right? That's what this legally means. Now we're trying to come to an agreement with Starbucks about our contract as union employees, as a company, and so they're accusing Starbucks of not in good faith bargaining with them or reasoning with them, and so there's this whole back and forth tit for tat thing, and this thing's going to drag out for however long. But from the practical sense, because we are at the practical place, I think about the individual level and how it affects them. I think about, like I said, the people just trying to make an honest living, and even like the workers on strike. Like, I get it, I hear you, but I also would say, why don't you just find another job? I know that there's probably many arguments out there, right? That's just a question that comes to mind, and I'm sure maybe they've been asked that already, or they thought about that, right? But maybe they're just the labor market, the job market. I don't know, but there's probably a lot of adjacent roles out there that are open. If you have the skill set of a barista that you could find, right? I would think, and maybe you enjoy that environment more, because they have that choice. I mean, they can just go find another job. I mean, and that would maybe fix their problems. And also just from like another perspective of, and it seems like I'm really going hard on the union workers. I don't mean to do that. I just, when I think about this, I think about the end goal here and what is the real impact we're going to have, because, excuse me, because, whenever this is going to affect a lot of the employees working there. This is going to affect the organization. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm for these large corporations or not. I'm not making a statement about that. But there's a Starbucks nearly in every city. I mean, you go on a road trip in Texas here, and in any small city for the most part, there's still a Starbucks. You can have a gas station, you can have a Starbucks. And so do I love that? I mean, would I prefer local coffee shops? Yeah, for sure. Like, I think that'd be great. But at the same time, like, they're there. You have people from that community working there, employing them, giving back to the city from an economic standpoint with an exchanging of money and employing people, things like that, which I think is a good thing. The conditions that go on inside those four walls, I don't know. So I could be totally off base here. But then there's just a perspective of the individual of like, you know what, like, this isn't worth it for me. Like, I can just find another job, and I can move on. And then also I think long term, like, do you want to be a barista? Like, are you going to retire as a barista? If you're young, like, I imagine a lot of these, progressive employees, progressive markets where these workers are at, progressive workers, like they, they're probably young. And so it's like, I'm assuming, right? I don't know, maybe not. So don't come at me for that. But my question would be, well, what do you want to be in 5 years? Like, do you want to be a Starbucks employee, like a barista for 5 years? Like, if this is something that really upsets you, I would say to use that as fuel to sort of build something for yourself, or take your skills and talents that you have and take them somewhere else that you actually appreciate and that you actually value. You're going to enjoy your life a lot better. The company's going to benefit from that. You're going to benefit from that. The customers will benefit from that, and it'll be better for everybody, I think. Again, this is a complex issue, very macro, but I'm trying to distill it down in my own mind because it's something that's happening that's really impactful to what's happening in the news cycle, and I think it's I don't know, worth thinking about, just a practical element. And I may be oversimplifying this conversation. Probably I am. But yeah, that's what I think about. It's like, the perspective of, do you want to be an employee, a barista for the rest of your life? And so is this worth it? I mean, if you do, I guess, fight the good fight, do your thing. If you don't, then I would say, well, why are we doing this? Why don't you just go and continue to go into school and find a different, better job, and then kind of just progress that way? I don't know. And then obviously for Starbucks, they've got to come to the table. They've got to do the right thing, bargain in good faith, don't discipline union workers just because they're union workers. You got to do the right thing on that side as well, because you're legally required to. So I hope they do that. I hope they do that to help these folks coming to the table. Hopefully, these grievances are honest. And that was another thing I was thinking about. Whenever on a micro scale, whenever you're fighting with somebody, or you're mad, or you're angry, or you have a debate with somebody, like, we have a bias towards ourselves, right? And so obviously any facts or any information regarding that topic, we're going to spin and emphasize the things that benefit us. And so when you think about, these labor conditions and the wages and all the things that they're upset about, which I'm not saying are untrue, but whenever you're in that state of mind, you're going to emphasize the things that benefit you in that argument. And that's just life, right? And that's what I'm trying to get at, is like, whenever at work, whenever I'm dealing with, I'm trying to pitch a new idea, or if I'm having a disagreement with a coworker about something, I'm going to emphasize the things that I think are correct and de-emphasize the things that I know look good for them, but I'm not going to talk about them as much. And so in the same way, I feel like that's probably happening here where, the labor practices, maybe they're not ideal, but they're not as bad as they're making them sound. And Starbucks maybe is technically by the letter of the law in doing things in good faith, but they're actually not. They know kind of what they're doing. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. So don't come at me for that. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think about this whole Starbucks strike thing? Are you a Starbucks worker? And I just completely offended you. Hopefully I didn't. But are you just somebody observing, kind of curious about this? What are your thoughts in the comments below? Like from a mindset perspective, from a practical sense, like what are some takeaways that you have looking at a situation like this for your own self? Like I'd be curious to know about the productive side of this conversation. Like what are mindset shifts, or what are just perspective one should have whenever thinking about their workplace or the environment in which they work, and just how to maximize the life. Like this is the life we have, so like why not try to enjoy what we're doing as much as we can. We're not always going to enjoy it, like I said, but like if we can, let's try to enjoy it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about that. Start a dialogue there. If you found this video insightful or helpful or interesting to any capacity, I would encourage you to like it. And also, like I said, subscribe here to The Practical Place. I've gotten over 350 subscribers, so super encouraged by that. Been doing this for a little over a year, about a year and a half now, so really thankful for that. So yeah, until next time, I'm Ryan Holguin. This is The Practical Place. I will see you in the next video.